fabulous Las Vegas. That's AAMP.TV. Folks, make sure you check out the sportcircus.com for our upcoming guest, our prior guest, our podcast, and also check out our partners page. We have some fantastic partners represented, such as the College of Southern Nevada Athletics. Check them out for upcoming events at csncoyotes.com. That's csncoyotes.com. And welcome back to everybody listening in on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast, hotel television, AAMPtv, AAMP.TV, and those streaming at thesportcircus.com. We're here again with Neil Donnell, lead vocals for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame band Chicago. It's incredible to have him here. The guy could sing. He could do impressions. There's all kinds of cool stuff he could do. What can't you do, Neil? Come on.
Just about everything else I can't do. No, I'm just a regular guy here in Toronto who has a weird job. That's pretty much how I describe it.
And also a former hockey player too, for all you sports enthusiasts. Yes, this is a sports show. Neil, how many times have you been to a stadium and you've maybe in between you've been listening to the music or whatnot, maybe there's a TV timeout or whatever it is, and you've heard something that you've either written, sang, or been a part of on the overhead speaker?
Too often to count, to be honest with you. I've been doing this for such a long time and been involved with such a myriad of different projects over the years. It happens a lot. In fact, when they opened the Sky Dome here in Toronto, I was part of the music for that. The opening ceremonies of that. So happens quite frequently.
Okay, Neil. So the people around you, let's just say you're sitting with one or two or three people, whatever, and they don't say anything. They're like, no, we don't want to say anything. But when you hear it, you kind of crack a smile, like, yeah, man, I'm a part of that, or I wrote that, or that's my music.
It's a strange feeling, sometimes, because sometimes it can just come right out of the blue. You don't expect it. And people send me things all the time that I've worked on that I totally forgot that I'd worked on. In fact, just this week, a couple of people, I guess, people are reminiscing right now a little bit. But this week, a couple of people sent me songs that I had recorded for them. I can't even remember. I don't even remember when. And I don't remember. I didn't remember the songs, but it clearly was me. But when you do that much work, over that period of time, you can't remember everything you've done.
Well, sure. It has to be a cool feeling. I don't know. I've never had that experience. And I don't know. It's just one of those, wow, I can't believe that's right. I did that. I mean, it must be kind of an interesting feeling. But at the same time, there's that fulfillment factor. A lot of people in life are missing the fulfillment factor. Would you agree?
Yeah. I'm very, very fortunate. It was the old expression that, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. So, I mean, the music business, the entertainment business, as you know, is a double-edged sword. There are stresses involved with it. Touring is not the easiest thing in the world to do. When the band does more than 100 shows a year, so we're out a lot, and a lot of times you pull into the next town at 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, and you've been traveling in the tour bus all night, and the roads are rough, so you haven't had much sleep, and then you got to get yourself up to do the show that night, because there are 5 or 6 or 7 or 10,000 people that have shown up, and as soon as you hear the music, you get that rush of adrenaline. To me, it's almost like somebody has stuck a hypodermic in my arm. I can pretty much pinpoint the minute, to the second, where I get that adrenaline rush, and you just get on stage and it's just magic.
Okay, so how many times have you been on stage and said, thank you, Chicago, or thank you, Detroit, and you're in like Cleveland or something? Have you ever done that one?
I have never done that. I have never done that so far. Right. But I've seen people do it. Believe me, I've seen many people do it. It's
and then the crowd boos because you're not saying the right city, right?
Yeah. There's a pretty good story that a very famous artist not so long ago. He was in Canada, and he was doing a show in Montreal. This is a very big name artist, and I think I'm not going to mention his name, but because everybody in the world knows who this is. And he was on stage at this brand new venue in Montreal, and the mayor of Montreal was there. And, you know, there's this huge rivalry between Montreal and Toronto. And he did his first song, and he said, "Oh, it's great to be back here in Toronto." You know, to a Montreal. Oh, I mean, I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall for that one, because I guess, you know, he got a few looks.
Oh, man. Folks, we're here with Neil Donnell, lead vocals from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame band Chicago. Welcome back to everybody watching on Hotel Television, our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates. I think we also have a question from the chat. Sonar, who do we have?
Absolutely. We've got another question from the chat, and they come in. As a lead singer, what do you do on stage without an instrument?
What do I do on stage without an instrument? Well, you know, you can dance around, you can move around, you can wander around the stage, you can interact with the other guys in the band. I don't play guitar on every song in the show. I play guitar on a bunch of songs in the show, but I'm used to doing that. You know, most of my life I've just been out front. You know, in fact, there's an organization that I work with that does concerts with symphony orchestras all over North America. And they wouldn't let us play instruments on those shows. They want the singers just out front with the mic and interacting with the audience, and, you know, that kind of thing.
You know, it's funny you say that, because I think back to all the concerts I've been to, quite a few of them just as a concert goer. And I would look at, it depends on, of course, who the band is. I mean, if it's Robert Plant standing up there for Led Zeppelin, you know, just basically howling into a microphone, just tearing it up, that's one thing. But sometimes I look at the lead singer and I say, well, he looks a little confused, or he looks a little bored. Everybody else is hammering their instruments or doing whatever they're doing. And there have been some concerts I've been to and seen the front guy not really, or front lady, not really know their place on the stage. I can't really say that, but you know what I'm saying? That they look a little uncomfortable because everyone else is doing something and they're not.
Well, yeah, it depends on the show and the band. You know, as far as Chicago goes, you know, we because it's such a large band, there's so many people in the group now. There's 10 of us on stage. We have to kind of know where we all are at any given moment, right. So you don't run into somebody. You know,
you could go down like dominoes.
Well, you know, you could. You know, the horn guys are moving around a lot. You know, they move around a lot, and you don't want to run into Jimmy Panko's trombone slide. And it's actually, he has damaged it like that. And so when the guys have got instruments on their mouths, you know, when they got those hard mouthpieces, you don't want to be hitting them, knocking them, because you could knock a tooth out. Same thing when the guy's in front of a microphone. If you hit the microphone stand, that microphone hits them in the mouth. I mean, you've got to be very aware of where you are at any given moment. You know, when there's that many people.
So Neil, how often does that happen?
Thankfully, it doesn't happen very often, because everything is worked out beforehand. You know, in a lot of the stages are quite large, so it's not usually an issue. But you know, you're supposed to know where you are at any given time, in any given song. You know, you have a designated sort of area that you're supposed to be in. I mean, you have some freedom to move around to some degree, but the other guys are moving too at different points of the show. So you got to be wary of that and not having any collisions, you know, and because people could actually get hurt, you know.
Right. You know, when you think of being a concert goer, Sonar, you don't really think of seeing collisions on stage. But I guess, hey, the good news is Neil's a former hockey player, so he could certainly dish it out and he could take a shot too.
That's true. I was a defenseman back in the day, and not a bad one either. So, you know, I played up front a lot as a defenseman. I didn't get a lot of goals, but I assisted a lot, and because I'm a big guy, I'm 6'2", and back when I was playing hockey, I was around 190, 195. So,
so you know what it's like to take a hit, and you know what it's like to dish it out at the same time. What about hockey fights? Okay, so let's go back to the hockey world real quick. Were you the guy that would drop the gloves and really get into it?
I hate to say that I did on occasion. I did on occasion, you know, and it was weird, because it was always the little guys that, that wanted to take the big guy down. I found that a lot, and because I have long arms, I would kind of just hold out my glove and just, I could keep the guy away from me with your hand, just by doing that, because they'd be swinging it, and you could sort of keep
That's
them
great
at a
stuff.
distance. Yeah, absolutely true.
So you're in the home of basically NHL headquarters in Toronto. In fact, one of the friends of our show here is one of the replay officials for goaltender interference in the booth. Pretty interesting stuff. So I hear what's going on over there. Yeah, Paul Dvorsky was with us last week. Paul's been a ref for, 32 years or something to the effect.
Oh, yeah. That's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
Devo's been around for a long time.
It's Canada, it's the national sport here. Actually, it's supposed to be lacrosse, but I guess technically, but hockey is. That people are just beside themselves right now. They're running old replays of old games right now and stuff. But
right,
everybody's chomping at the bit for sports to get back going. So we're looking forward to that here. Yeah.
All right, so Neil, we have just a couple of minutes left in the show here, and I want to make sure that you have a chance to get out all your projects, your interests, the things that are important to you, your social media. Go ahead and take a minute and talk about that.
Yeah, well, the band is back recording a little bit now, so you can find some of that stuff on YouTube. And I do have a record that I'm still selling from my website, which is neildonnell.com. Anyone who wants to go and check that out, you can listen to samples of that record. It's called Sodace. It's a bunch of cover songs. There's a one original song of my own that was written for my sons. And there is a Chicago song that I recorded. I'm very proud of the record. I'm sure you'll recognize virtually all the songs on the record. And I'm working on a new project now. I'm just finishing it up to have another record out later this year. And just like everybody else, I'm trying to stay healthy and collaborating with different people, on different music projects. So that's keeping me pretty occupied right now.
That's great. Well, hopefully on your next time around here in Las Vegas, you'll stop in and see us and have a laugh with us. Maybe bring your guitar and bring your pads and gloves, because we may drop the gloves. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I'll see if I can fit it all in my guitar case.
Yes, everything will fit in there for sure.
I've still got a bag full of old hockey gear in the basement there. Yeah.
All right. Well, Neil, thank you so much. Folks, a big round of applause for Neil Donnell, lead vocals for Rock and Roll Hall of Fame band Chicago, for joining us today. I'm your ringmaster, Sal, and we'll see you next time right here back on the Circus. Until then, so long, everyone.